Hi there, welcome to my channel. I want to talk a bit today about fibromyalgia and explain how I think that it is possible to overcome it, and that it doesn't have to take years and years, and it doesn't have to be too overwhelming, and you don't have to be a perfectionist about it. And I'm going to be using myself as a guinea pig. So just to explain a little bit, my name's Olivia and I'm trained as a naturopathic nutritionist, which obviously, like a lot of people, you get interested in something that you have struggles with. And for my whole life I've had health struggles of different sorts. And for the last I've always had a lot of aches and pains and things, but I guess I've kind of realized, well, if I went to see a doctor about it, and I don't really like going to see doctors, but if I did, then they'd diagnose it as fibromyalgia. And obviously, with my training, I understand quite a bit about autoimmune conditions, but I work very holistically. So I love Anthony Williams, and actually, I think he's done a massive service, because I think there are people in the medical community that are listening to him. Because I was looking up, I'm based in the UK, and I was looking up what the NHS website said about fibromyalgia and what the causes were, just out of interest. And I couldn't believe it, because I saw that they actually talk about Epstein-Barr there, and I would say that's a big shout out to Anthony Williams. So so I think, which is good, because 100% that's what I believe is at the root cause of not just fibromyalgia, but not Epstein-Barr, sorry, I should clarify, I mean viruses, pathogenic viruses, uh, heavy metals as well, and other toxins, as well as all the emotional factors. Because I very much believe you can't just I love Anthony William, but I don't just take what he says as wrote and just follow it to the letter, because I think it's more complex than that, and everyone's got their own situation. But I very much believe we hold our stresses and our woundings, we hold that all in our body, and it's there to teach us something. And just going about it from a physical point of view and looking, say, at the nutrition or exercise or things like that, I think, well, I'm not, of course it works for people, it does 100%, but I think when you try and change matter with matter, it's quite a slow process. And you can do it much more quickly when you're also working with, from an energetic point of view, working with energy, like energy workers. So firstly, it's faster, but also I think then you're losing the opportunity to look at what really is going on, and just seeing it as, it's not about no one is, it's not about blaming anyone. Oh, it's your fault, you've got a condition. And I'm the first one to say that, because I've had stuff going on in my health from a very young age. And let's face it, I don't think we don't really understand why we come in with these things. And so it's not to kind of get caught up in those questions. But I think it's very clear now that you can't really separate out the mental and emotional health from the physical body. And I believe spiritual health too, but that, for some people, that's not interesting to them, and that's absolutely fine. So you can take what resonates and leave everything else. But I do obviously have training in this, so I do very much understand from a nutritional therapy, especially naturopathic nutritional therapy, which is much more holistic. From my point of view, if people come and see me, I know exactly what to do with them, exactly what kind of food to get them onto. But I sometimes struggle being able to talk about the more emotional sides of it. So I tend to focus more on the food side and other lifestyle things, but it's not quite as holistic as I'd like. And also, and then you might be asking, well, why am I not practicing what I preach? And believe me, I do a lot of the time, but I have a long history of a very troubled relationship with food. And when I do anything too hard and fast and severe, it absolutely flares up. So I've never quite sorted it out myself, and I'll have long spells where things will feel better, but there's a part of me that doesn't really believe that I can change it, because it's been so long. But now I feel okay. I kind of feel that there's absolutely a way you can go forward without being too severe. When you really pull, I'm trying to pull everything, not just in my training together, but just in my life experience together. Just pull everything together and really work out, well, how quickly can things change? Because I don't want to spend years doing this. I'm 46. I'm kind of, I want things to change. I want to see results, and I believe that can happen. So I'm going to document it, because it's quite. I think I like seeing people that have done something themselves. I could talk to you just as a naturopath, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to treat it, and I think that's, you know, and they'll do it much more professionally than I will. So, but I also want to explain I've got a lot of weight to lose as well as part of a side effect of all the years and years of struggles with eating. So, which obviously impacts on fibromyalgia, not just because of more stress on joints, but because of inflammation levels are higher and things like that, and also because you feel like crap, and then all those negative thoughts about your body, like really, you know, not as they used to be, but negative thoughts about your body, they your body reacts to them. So because it's you know, you're in a relationship with it, and if you're constantly beating up on yourself about how you look and why can't you do it, and then your body, it reacts to that. So it's kind of trying to put all of that in one, and it's not some kind of crazy diet I want to do, but I want to talk about the kind of the things that I want to do, because it's not going to be massively like where, you know, you just radically overhaul everything. But on the other hand, because I am a naturopath, I have been incorporating a lot of really useful nutritional things into my diet, and obviously I love Anthony Williams, so I follow lots of his stuff. So there is a certain amount that I'm used to doing, and if you're not used to doing that, then it will feel quite of a big overhaul. But I would say, because with fibromyalgia, which just to sidetrack a little bit. So, okay, fibromyalgia, autoimmune condition, body attacks itself. I don't believe that anyway. I absolutely don't believe the body is attacking itself. I 100% believe that it is attacking what's, you know, you've got inflammatory processes going on from things like heavy metals, toxins, viruses, and if anything, your body, if your immune system's reacting, it's reacting to the viruses and things like that. The wisdom of I mean, you just look at a rose and just think how unbelievable the universe is, and then you really think the body's just going to constantly attack itself. I don't buy it. But on the other hand, it doesn't really matter ultimately doesn't really matter. It's more how you're going to go about sorting it out. And I think autoimmune conditions, often people get diagnosed with multiple ones, and there's a reason for that, because it's the same processes, they just come out in different ways. So the closest I can get to all my symptoms would be fibromyalgia, but you know, it's, so yes, the joint pain, the muscle stiffness, the fatigue, all of these things massively overlap with all other autoimmune conditions, of course, but I feel it very much in my musculoskeletal system, and yeah, it's a pain, and the mental fog and all these kind of things, difficulty sleeping. I don't know if for me it's just because things hurt, and if I go too hard and fast, say like with exercise, I don't know about you, but if I do too much exercise, it's, you know, it's not that good pain that you feel afterwards, where you feel like, yeah, my muscles, I've worked out, it feels great. It literally feels like I've been run over by a truck. So case in point, I went to the gym this morning and I did my swim, and I haven't been for ages. You know, my new year did not start as I planned. I haven't been in the gym since about mid-December, and so I thought I'll do a gentle swim, and just coming back, my arms just felt like they were on fire, and I swam fairly hard, but only for 20 minutes. So it's about easing into things, and it's the same with the nutrition. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to check in and kind of chart the changes. So firstly, I'm going to be focusing on things that I want to add in, because it's always better psychologically. So in terms of say, this would be influenced a bit by Anthony Williams, because I like celery. Well, do I like celery juice? I like what it does for me. It works. So celery juice, I'm going to be doing that every day. And sometimes if I can't handle celery juice, I'll do a straight cucumber juice. I know I don't mix it with things, although some people get worried about, oh, it ruins the effects if I put something in with my celery juice. It might not work quite as the way it should, but let's face it, it's going to do you a lot of good. So if you can't handle straight celery juice, add things, or try cucumber juice, because that's great. So then also I do my detox smoothie. Now Anthony Williams has a heavy metal detox smoothie with the powder, with spirulina, barley grass juice, wild blueberry powder, or sometimes I just use blueberries because it's hard to get hold of, and then coriander, and then some kind of seaweed or dulse. And I do that, but I don't do it every day because it's gross. And although, you know, you down it, it's over, it's like medicine, it's fine. But I like to change it, because I also just think, you know, intuitively, I just know my body likes to have a bit of change. So I do one and I'll put the recipe down. It's, I have pineapple, and you don't need banana or mango with this one. It's actually really great, and it works. It's really light, and it's like watery, but it's delicious, and it doesn't sound like it's got enough fruit in, but I promise you with the pineapple it works. So if you add banana, it makes it gross. I don't know why. But so pineapple, and then add lots of fresh parsley, add a handful of baby leaf spinach, and about an inch of cucumber, and then an inch of courgette as well. And I do sometimes add some of the green powders, say the spirulina, the barley grass, and the dulse, but you don't have to. And then have that with coconut water or water. Coconut water is great because of all the nutrients in that, but if you know, it's expensive as well, so water's fine. And I have that, so that's what I'm going to be doing every day. Those are the things I add in. I always make sure I eat enough fruit and vegetables. Well, I don't when I'm having my terrible days, but when I'm making any positive changes, the basis is making sure you have enough fruit and vegetables, which is around 8 to 10 servings a day, not 5 a day. There's not enough. If you hardly eat them, then you don't want to go to 8 to 10 a day overnight, because your gut will feel a bit funny. So you want to build up slowly. Plus it makes it more doable, and have lots of fruit, because fruit's really healing, and don't be scared off it. No one is in hospital because they ate too many apples. So that's from the food point of view. But then in terms of, okay, what maybe I'm going to steer clear of, but now I can't totally steer clear of things, because that does not do my mentality any good, and then I don't want to end up you know, overdoing it. Compulsively overeating, I think, would be the term. So I definitely, all the really highly processed foods, the ultra processed foods, you want to cut those down as much as possible, just because it's not about the calories and all of that, but all those chemicals are very inflammatory, and you want to be lowering inflammation. So but what I do is, like this morning I made some brownies. So okay, not, you know, they're still brownies. I can't eat them all day and not have any ill effects, but at least I know what the ingredients are, and they're pure ingredients. And I even whacked in some spirulina powder. So yeah, they're not healthy, but they're fine. And if I don't have things like that every day, then I know it's not going to work long term. So it's more about finding substitutes. So not worrying about, so say like bread, all that really grim ultra processed bread that you get in supermarkets. I know it's more expensive to go and buy really nice freshly made bread, but you know, slice it, put it in the freezer, make it last, and it's just, you know, then you actually really enjoy it, and you're not getting a whole bucket load of chemicals with it. So it's kind of cutting down the processed foods. Yes, gluten and dairy I don't have much of anyway, and I absolutely, with any autoimmune condition, if I'm advising someone, it's you do look at gluten and dairy and eggs, sorry, because eggs feed viruses. So, but again, nothing has to be hard and fast. So if you love eggs, just cut them down. If you, gluten is actually really, other than bread, gluten is really easy to change, because there's so many alternatives these days. So gluten and dairy as well. Some of the cheese is not great, is it? But it's getting better. So you just do what you can. This is the whole point of my approach that I'm taking, and let's see if I do this consistently. Let's see how fast it works. But I don't think you have to be so harsh on yourself. So if you have a bit of cheese, don't worry. The point is you're kind of aiming for this, and you're doing the best you can every day and being consistent. So reducing gluten and dairy and eggs, reducing the highly processed foods, upping the fruit and vegetables, upping the juices. And you don't just have to do celery juice, do other juices too. Do ones that you like, you know, anything that you like. Juices are fantastic for you. The smoothies, you can also do nice tasting smoothies as well, although I promise you the pineapple one is okay as well. So that's the food side of it. But also from the exercise point of view, I'm going to be doing gentle exercise, but I want to do it daily, and walking and stretching and yoga, because yoga releases, it's good for all the joints, but it releases all the stored emotions in the body. And I'm going to be looking at the more emotional side of it too, because but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll stop there. But I'm going to talk about that one on the next one. But I think it's actually really important, because that's going to be different for everyone. So I know what my emotional kind of glitches are, and the things that, you know, my anxieties, my fears, all these things that come up. And to start with, it's just about being aware of them, isn't it? It's not about trying to magically make them disappear, because then you just set yourself up for feeling like more failure. So I think it's just to be aware that our thoughts impact our body, our thoughts and our emotions, so we can really speed things up. And I know this because in the past, like I went on a meditation retreat for a week, and I didn't even eat great. I wasn't eating that much, and it wasn't great food all the time. And my body, the pain levels in my body went down so much. I walked out of there and I thought, oh my God, is this what people feel like? It doesn't feel like every joint is clanging away and creating pain and pulling sensations. So, and that was in the space of just under a week. So there's no way that people can tell me that that your mindset doesn't have a massive impact on your pain levels. The last thing I want to talk about is supplements. Maybe I'm going to do that in the next video because it's too long otherwise. But supplements can be useful, but if you don't do the other changes, then, and I've seen this with clients, it's, you know, you can't just carry on doing what you want to do and take loads of supplements and think everything changes. But they are helpful once you're on the right path. And now there's some really great supplement companies, especially in the UK, where they don't add crap. They're really reasonable. So I'll talk about those in the next one, but I'm going to leave it for now. So I'll be back and let's see how it goes. And please do subscribe, write your comments down, because it'd be really fun to feel that other people are doing this too, because I know how miserable it is. I'm sick and tired of it. I know that we don't have to be unwell and feel in pain, and you know, and if you've also got weight to lose too, then I'm going to write my weight loss down, see how it's not the be all and end all, don't get me wrong, but it kind of just puts added stress on you in all sorts of ways, but it's hard when you're in a lot of pain and you don't feel great in your body. It's hard to always treat it the way you should. So the weight is a side effect, but it's kind of an important one. So for a lot of people, and I'm not going to, you know, I know we're often told to just forget that, but I don't think that's the case. So yeah, let's see how that goes too. Okay, bye.